Oh, are we live? Are we live, Tim?
Yes, I think so, Tim. At least there's a red light in the corner that says we are.
Yes. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of the Tim and Jim Show. I'm Tim Sohn here hanging out in the forest in Pennsylvania, and I'm so excited for our guest today. But Jim, my trusty friend Jim Fuse, take it away, my friend.
Hey, great to be here, everyone. I'm Jim Fuse with Fusion Marketing, doing marketing the Marine Corps way. And very excited to have with us today Ross Brand of not only Livestream Universe, but now I think it's Monetize Live.video, just doing a lot of amazing things in the live streaming space. I look at Ross, not only as a mentor, but just a leader in the field. So excited to have him back. He was our 1 year anniversary guest, and it's hard to believe that in less than what month are we in? May. 3 months we'll be having our 3-year anniversary of the show.
Well, thanks for having me back. I've been so excited. It's been a while, and I love that open that you guys have. You can't help but smile seeing all those guests come on, and what a great time they're having. So glad to be here. Thanks so much for setting this up today.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Ross. We're really excited you're here. So just tell everyone a little bit about who is Ross Brand anyway.
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. But well, why don't we go with what I put online? I'm a live streamer. That's what I do. Livestream Universe is my company, and I've done shows for a bunch of different brands, including StreamYard, and now I've put my focus on helping other people monetize live streaming with Monetize Live Streaming Now. It's a virtual summit, a Facebook group, a mastermind, and that's where I'm putting a lot of attention right now, because I think there's tremendous opportunity for people who are interested in using live streaming to monetize or have been live streaming to find the right strategy for them and move forward with ways that they can make money from live streaming. Everybody else is making money from it. The live streamer should make some money too.
Absolutely. And Ross, I think you're really, to me, you're one of the I'd say the first right now in this space is really focusing on that. I mean, people talk about it, but you're like taking it to another level.
Well, one of the things I've noticed in going to conferences and virtual events is that everybody's interested in the session on monetization, but the talk is always about community and creativity and tech and all these other areas, which are wonderful and I love. But what if we got an event that would go right to the heart of what people really need to learn? And you see that there are so many stories about businesses that survived during the pandemic when there was no foot traffic allowed into their location, and they survived because they figured out live streaming. And they may never have thought about going live before, but they came up with doing some type of content that was entertaining and informative. And all of a sudden, they had a business that was not only surviving, but in many cases thriving, because now they opened the door not just to people who could walk in their store, but people all over the world who could buy their products and services. So seeing that and talking about it each week on different shows, I said, this is where it's at. I mean, this is the future of live streaming. It's not just the megaphone anymore, in marketing lingo, the top of the funnel to get people to pay attention. It's actually going to be where sales are taking place. E-commerce, the integration. Jim, so well about how Amazon Live is working and what the potential there is. I think the integration is going to get even more seamless to where you're just watching the Tim and Jim show. You see the logo for StreamYard there, you tap on it, and all of a sudden you've signed up for an account. Or, you tap on the Tim and Jim show, and all of a sudden, you've subscribed to your email list or what have you. And I think it's going to be a place where live video becomes where the sale is made as much as it is the megaphone to get attention. And so as people learn and get comfortable with that, and it's not something I've been super comfortable with, I love promoting other people and pitching their products. I haven't been as good as I should be about having my own products that I'm letting people, that I not only have and are available, but that I'm letting people know when I do have them on my shows. So I'm learning, but I'm also been fortunate to have monetized live streaming in different ways. And I feel like there's a lot that I can share and a lot of great people that I can call on who are doing it, and provide them with a forum through these different opportunities that I'm creating, that they can share their knowledge and expertise so other people can learn. It's a big pot, so to speak, or a big pie. There's so much room for people to step in and monetize. I don't look at anything anybody's doing as competition, because as this thing continues to explode, there's going to be more work than all of us can handle as live streaming becomes completely mainstream and completely essential to your business and to how people go about purchasing products and services.
Yeah, and I think, you bring up a great point, because to me, Ross, and you've seen it, right, starting even back with Blab, the platforms may change, but in the big scheme of things, the fundamentals don't change. Right? You might change what platform you're going live to, but once you get comfortable with how to live stream, as long as you can connect your cameras and your microphones to that, it doesn't really matter what platform it is. And if anything, right, it kind of goes back to the whole rented land conversation, as far as you need to own your content. And that's what you're going to really, get you into that whole monetization space. And because sometimes you could be like, oh, but there's 38 million people on YouTube, but how many of them, just like with podcast, they're not doing anything, right? It's an account, but nothing's happening. I love your content, right? I don't look at you as a competitor, right? If anything, it's more of a collaborator, because people are going to listen to people because they get to know, like, and trust them. And my voice may not be for someone, Tim's voice may not be for someone, but then, that voice may work with you, right? I mean, it's just that whole thing, right? Not everyone's going to like you for whatever reason. So I think there's, and I think we talked a little bit too about how over in Asia, right, this whole thing where we kind of touched on earlier, where things are going with online shopping. I mean, it's huge in Asia. We're just scratching the surface of what live streamers are going to be able to do here in the United States.
Yeah, and it's super important, I think, for the platforms and for the tools that we use to think about how they can integrate shopping and integrate really in-stream purchasing. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at touching glass and making that purchase. You've already uploaded your payment information and everything. And as they decide to work on that, which I'm sure many of them are or have been for months or years, but whoever develops that in a way that really works for both the creator and customer, that platform or that tool is going to have a huge edge. Because right now there's no, I would say there's no tool that's completely ideal. Amazon Live is probably the closest, I would think. Jim, you would know this better than most, because it has that carousel, and most people are watching on their mobile, and they can tap in. I assume they're watching on their mobile since it's a go live from mobile. But who knows?
Believe it or not, we've found that almost 2/3 of our viewers have been on desktop. So you have a lot more desktop viewers than you would expect. But absolutely, the mobile experience is already there. Yeah, but that's a great point.
Desktop makes it easier, of course, because you can right click and open up the purchase in another browser and still watch. But I think the real next stage will be when you just touch glass on your phone or your tablet and make that purchase, and you don't lose the live stream, you don't stop watching, you don't have forms to fill out or anything like that. And it's coming, and I mean, it'll be great for impulse buying. I'm sure we'll all spend money on some things that we don't need, but I think it'll also open up great opportunities for people to get products and services quickly and easily, and for creators to sell and make money from their content. The platforms are making money. They're running ads against your videos. They're selling your data all over the place. The tools that we use and love make money. The streaming services that we use and love make money. All the other things that we need to do social and to email and we pay for. Everybody's even the people who watch make money if they can monetize the tips and the things that we provide on our live streams. The live streamer should find a way to monetize this too, and that's what my goal is. The other thing is, I should mention real quick, I want speakers to get paid too. And that was extremely important to me in creating this event, that all the speakers would be paid. We see these big events that generate tons of revenue and charge a lot of money for tickets, and then they say they don't have a budget for paying speakers. Well, I guess it's where you put your priorities, because that's what I started with, and then I figured out how to do everything else. But I just think you can't have a movement about monetizing live streaming and then not pay the people who are speaking to live stream their content at your event. You know, being a guest on a show is different. I don't think anybody expects to be paid. If they do, it's not really the way things go, pay guests. But an event is different when you're selling tickets. And yeah, I mean, I think the speakers should monetize just like live streamers should monetize.
Exactly. So thank you everyone for being here. Dr. Stewart is here. So it's great to see you all. Ivan, he was at the summit, right, Ross?
Yeah.
Hey, Ivan, thanks for being here. And tuning in from Scotland. We're international.
Yeah, I just watched a thing last night about the history of Scotch. And yeah, Scotland's big on that. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So Ross, tell us what inspired you to create this summit anyway?
Yeah, I think it's because, as I said, live streaming's been a lifeline for businesses, and so many small businesses have been really hurt during the pandemic. The lockdown has kept customers, and we're all trying to be safe. And I know there are businesses that I would regularly walk in the door to that I haven't been to in over a year. And so some of those businesses have survived through live streaming. And that was my primary motivation was, let's make that happen for more people and more businesses, but also the people that are live streaming regularly or are thinking about doing it on behalf of their business. There's so many different ways to monetize live streaming. Let's get those ways out in front of people. Let's bring on people who are experts and actually doing it themselves and help people, one, pinpoint the opportunities that fit their talent, their expertise, and their audience, and then get a game plan to implement those. Pretty ambitious, but I think a lot of the speakers really delivered. We had a watch time. This is unbelievable. We had a watch time of the average attendee stayed 4.4 hours of an 8-hour live stream. I mean,
that's amazing.
The biggest live streams I've been a part of on Facebook. You don't really want to go look too closely at the metrics, right? Because you do, and you see, it starts breaking down by 10-second views and who, how many people actually clicked on the volume and what, and you go, well, yeah, when you get down to it, how many people actually paid attention, right? And of course, people are paying attention and they're coming and going and your core audience is there. I mean, I've been all about streaming to Facebook Live. But this was a different experience, going to an event platform and really going deep on one niche topic. And like I said, the speakers, I think, really delivered, and people wanted to stay and see the next topic and the next topic and really pinpoint those areas where they can have an opportunity to monetize.
I thought it was great too, Ross, seeing all the people in the chat. It was kind of like a reunion of live streaming folks.
I mean, it was pretty cool. Like I was so focused on hosting and producing that I wasn't as active in participating in the chat or in trying to encourage people to be more active in the chat with some of the features that Hopin gives. But the comments, it was amazing. I mean, we had almost 1,000 comments during the event, and people came back to watch the replay too the next day, which was pretty cool, and we're chatting. So, and thanks, Tim, for all you did to promote too. You were awesome leading up to it. You were sharing it all over the place. You were there, engaged, and sharing on social during the event. You came to the strategy sessions afterwards. So I really appreciate all you put in to help make it a success.
Well, thank you, Ross. It was an honor to be involved with the event, and I got so much positive feedback from people that I recommended people go to the event, and people were so happy.
Yeah, you introduced us to some great people too, who you brought in from your courses and your community. So it's all appreciated very much.
Sure, Jim. So do you want to take the next question for Ross?
Yeah. So Ross, what monetization strategies have you personally used to grow your live streaming business?
Wow, I've used a lot of different ones. I'd say the first one I ever used was something I developed called the portfolio method. And that's the idea that before you worry about followers or likes or how much you engage or how big your audience is for a live stream or whether you've built the funnels or the programs or all that, it's about optimizing your social media and digital footprint to convert warm leads. So that was the first thing. The first thing I did was taking my live streaming content, being consistent with it, and then sharing it in places, promoting it online where people would discover me when they Google, right? So somebody says to you, hey, you should check out this guy, Ross. You need help with XYZ. Check him out. He knows a lot about live streaming. So the person's already kind of a warm lead, right? They came well recommended. They're ready to kind of say yes, but they want to see who is this person? Would I like working with them? and they Google you, what comes up? Your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your about page on your website. So those are the places to start, and optimize the bios, get some content out there that, really confirms for people. This is why I would like to work with this. So they come away, they scan it, they look at some pictures, they watch a video or two, short video typically, and they're like, oh, okay, I like this person. I'd feel comfortable working. It confirms that. So start with that. I mean, that is where so many opportunities can be won and lost, is just converting warm leads. Beyond that, it's been everything for, hosting shows has been a big part. I've hosted shows for Be Live and for StreamYard, and worked with LiveU and some other companies. Affiliate has been a part of it. Not a huge part, but it's an important piece to it, and that's been valuable. I've done producing and consulting and coaching, so I've had my hands in a lot of different aspects to make this a business. And I'm sure there's other things that Virtual Summit now I can add to the list of ways. There's so many different ways, and like I say, but start with driving traffic to your business or converting people. Not by being, you don't even have to be salesy. It's just a matter of letting people know, like you guys introduced yourself. Jim's from Fusion Marketing, Tim's from Zone Social Media, right? Right there, people know, hey, you like the show, you like these hosts, there's ways to work with them. And that's where it kind of starts, along with making sure your bio and your photo and your links and all that work for you before you spend time figuring out how to become internet famous.
Right. So we should say hi to some folks who tuned in. Sonia is here. She says, we use group videos for online workshops on WhatsApp before Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn Live available. And Amber, here we go. Says, hello there and good morning. I didn't realize that live streaming could be such a direct link to my cash flow. So thanks for being here, Amber. Ryan is here. He says, hey, are we live? I think we are, but we appreciate you whether you're live or on.
I think you're the only one that gets away with saying that, Tim, because we kind of know.
And
Stefan is here. Stefan was one of the speakers at the event, right, Ross?
Yeah, he was great. Talked about his process, which is, an important part of what I was talking about with the portfolio method, which is developing a strong LinkedIn profile and particularly the about section, how you describe yourself in your professional bios. He worked with Nancy Ankowitz from NYU. That was really a cool session.
Yeah, for sure. And Linda Booth is here from the UK. She's in my live streaming course. She says, looks great, Tim. So thanks, another video to add to the list. So thanks for being here, Linda. Okay, everyone, we're going to take a brief break for a message from our amazing sponsor, StreamYard, which we use every week to power the Tim and Jim show and many other shows that myself and Jim work on. So we'll see you on the flip side in 15 seconds. And we're back on the Tim and Jim show, doing the Tim dance or the Jim dance or whatever dance you want to do. Let us know. Dance in the comments. Put some dancing emojis. And we're excited to be back here with Ross Brand talking about what he learned from creating a live streaming summit. And so, Ross, tell us what are some lessons that you learned both before, during, and after the event producing a summit like this?
I think that a big advantage that us live streamers have when we do a summit is live streaming. It's not a knock against people who create great summits and they monetize those summits by mostly pre-recording and then using live. And I'm not saying I won't do some summits that way in the future, because it is a ton of work to do it. An 8-hour live broadcast, host that produce it, and promote it and all that, try and do all that at the same time. But I think that live streaming it creates a sense of it being a more like an in-person event. It's not going to exactly replicate it, but it gives some of that feel. And another thing I think is having a dedicated event platform. And that way people get a ticket and they register and they go to that platform. Like Saturday, we're going to Ross's event instead of Ross is going live with something, right, on Facebook, where there's tons of distractions and your messenger's going and your notifications are going and, oh, look, there's a blog post about, whoop, boom, I'm gone, right? The way you could do it on an event platform enabled one session to kind of flow into the next, but you could take breaks and there were things for people to do. There was a photo booth. There were expo booths with vendors. There was networking. And you could really make it feel more like what an event experience. So get people off of social media, right? Social media is not the ideal place to learn. It's the ideal place to scroll and dabble. So that's kind of, I feel those two things. Also, paying speakers means that you can be more particular in asking speakers. We're not going to promote here. We're going to deliver new information, the latest strategies. I was really excited about what the result was from the speakers. I felt they really shared. I mean, there were people, these were mostly people that I had very strong relationships with, and they really, really delivered for this event. I'm so proud of what these speakers did, and not just recycling the same talk that they've been giving over the years, but really fitting their talk in with the theme of the event, and then by providing material that really was up to date in how they're approaching the topic of monetization.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Ross, what advice would you give if somebody's thinking about launching an event like this? What advice should they do it in the first place? And what other advice would you give them?
Okay, so I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but I had no idea. It's a lot of work. I would be prepared for it. I would do it at a time where your schedule isn't insane already. I would give yourself more runway than I gave myself. I gave myself under 2 months to do it. I would do probably at least 3 months, and I really did the promotion kind of heavy the last week to 10 days. I would set it up ready to roll out for 3 weeks. And that was just because my time and it wasn't there. You know, it was actually kind of ready, but I just had so many things to do to make sure that the event was going to work out that I couldn't really get into promotion until maybe 7 to 10 days before. That's not enough time. So those are some of the things that I learned from it. But start with have a niche, have a mission, have a goal, have a theme, something that sort of ties it together. An easy way for people to understand why they should attend, and then take a chance with it. Right? I was really, really pleasantly surprised by how well it went, how good the speakers were, the reaction of the attendees, and of course the watch time was just like almost unheard of for somebody who's typically streaming to social media to go, this is where people are paying attention.
Right. Yeah. And Ross, do you also like in that regards too, did you from as far as like the money that you paid the speakers, did a lot of that come from sponsors? Was that kind of your base to get the speakers paid? I know you kind of like, I'm going to pay the speakers X, I got to come up with Y. And means I make money. Because I think a lot of times ticket sales are not necessarily going to be your moneymaker because people may not be willing to pay what you would like them to pay. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I made the commitment, and then the first thing I did was talk to StreamYard, and then I talked to other brands. I talked to Ustream and Tim Gillette and other of our sponsors, and they were incredible. I mean, their sponsorship made it possible to do that and to also use a platform like Hopin and to use some of the tools that we use. But overall, I think the event, beyond paying the speakers, doesn't have to be super expensive if you find the right way to do it. I mean, even when you think about it, if you're charging for tickets, hop in at $99 a month, and plus there's some charges when you go over 100 users or 100 registration. I mean, it's not unreasonable, right? If you're charging, say, $97 for the recordings. So I think there's ways to do it, but having some sponsors gives you runway to then make those choices without feeling like you're going way deep in the hole.
So it's been awesome having you here, Ross. Tell people how they can connect with you, and what are you up to now? What's next for Ross after this? Will you do any more summits or whatever else you have going on?
I within minutes, I was like, let's do this again, but not right away. So right now I'm doing, I just launched in beta a mastermind group called the Livestream Universe Monetization Mastermind. It's all about monetizing live streaming. We're having strategy sessions and guest speakers and group coaching, and gonna help people wherever they are along their journey to monetization. And it's also going to be, just a real supportive community. We've got some great people involved already. And so I'm looking forward to that as kind of the next step. Of course, you can check me out at Livestream Universe, and I've got all different types of content and resources over there. And so that's probably the best way right now, livestreamuniverse.com. And if you're interested in the mastermind, it's monetizelive.vip. It's great to have these short redirects, but you got to remember which one is for which. Monetizelive.vip takes you to a website that I built on Uscreen that is where all the videos will be for that, and then we'll have our meetings and such as well.
Awesome stuff.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. This is always fun. I love what you guys are doing and how consistent you've been with great guests, and 3 years of doing a weekly show is impressive. So congratulations on everything you guys are doing.
Thank you, Ross. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Ross. Jim, do you want to tell everyone who our guest is for next week?
Absolutely. Next week, we have a international woman of mystery, Amanda Webb. Spider Webs will be here. So we're excited to have her, and she's going to teach us some great things to, not only us, but our audience. So hope everybody joins us next week. And Ross, thanks again for all the wisdom you share. And you're truly one of those people that helps others first, and I think that's to be admired.
Well, thank you both for always supporting what I'm doing and always being a part of things. I really appreciate both of you.
And the same on this end. And thank all of you for tuning in for the Tim and Jim Show, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.